Hello, everyone. It's Cam from Arsenal Theory Podcast, and we're going to be doing a review of the Brentford Arsenal game in the Carabao Cup last night. Really great game. Arsenal got the victory 1-0, so that always makes it a great game, in my opinion. And let's get down to business straight away, shall we? And let's get this up on here. So we got to see my favourite player, Emil Smith-Rowe, ESR, start the game. His first start in over a year for the Arsenal. It was like 490 days or something. It's like a crazy amount of days that he's not been playing for. So really great to see him on the pitch. So obviously Carabao Cup. I keep calling it the Carabao Cup. So we changed quite a few of the players around, starting with the goalie. There was obviously the big hoo-ha about David Raya or Aaron Ramsdale, who should be number one, who's going to get the nod. Well, Ramsdale got the nod yesterday, which is to be expected because the cup is seen as a lesser competition and as a good opportunity for Rambo to get some minutes under his belt. And so it was Ramsdale in goal. We switched some of the defenders around with Gabriel and Tomiyasu at centre-back. We kept Ben White at right-back, and we had Jakub Kiwior come in at left-back. In midfield, we had Jorginho, after his horrific error against Spurs, come into midfield with Smith-Rowe, which obviously I was very happy about. Kai Havertz, who I'm like this about. And we had Reece Nelson on the wings, on the right wing, and Sago Jr. on the left. And debut for Sago Jr. as well. His first kind of senior appearance, I believe, for the club. 18 years old, incredible opportunity for him. And he had a good game as well. And up front, we went with Eddie Nketiah, who, again, hasn't had the greatest couple of weeks. Wasn't great against Everton. Wasn't great against Spurs, but got the nod yesterday. Give Gabriel Jesus a bit of a rest with another game coming up on Saturday. So, let's go through a few of the players kind of individually here. Let's start, with Ramsdale. I thought he looked good, but there is a but coming along with that. But let's look at the positives at the minute. I thought his kicking was outstanding. He seemed relatively calm. He looked like he was calm but aggressive, whereas before he's kind of looked a bit jittery. So the away fans were giving him pelters all game because obviously his position's under threat. And the goalie he's been replaced with is actually on loan from Brentford. So the fans kept, I think they're saying he's just a shit David Raya. So can't have been nice for Ramsdale, but he seemed to thoroughly enjoyed it. The defence looks fairly comfortable with him back in goal. And I said his long-range kicking looked really good. He did some nice passing through the lines as well. He looked very focused. The but is just, I don't see anyone talk about this online. There was a moment in the second half where he's trying to play it out and he just makes a hash of it, essentially. Just really cocks it up. And Brentford nearly get in and steal the ball, and we managed to clear it, luckily, and I think it went out for like a corner or something. And we escaped one there. That could have easily been 1-0 down. Apart from that, though, he was really solid, and you couldn't have any complaints. But on another day, that could have cost us the game, to be honest with you. Apart from that, he did have some lovely saves. He had a really good save in the first half. And in the second half, where the ball was being kind of clipped right into the bottom right-hand corner, and he managed to get down really well. It looked like he got a touch to it, came in off the post, and then got cleared. So really good from him. But again, just that bit of concentration when he was playing out, it nearly cost us. But it was only the once, and we did manage to get away with it. So that was fantastic. Didn't look like he was troubled by what's gone on with him losing his place as the number one. So it'd be interesting to see what happens against Bournemouth on Saturday. Moving on to a couple of other players, Jakub Kiwior and Tomiyasu. And Kiwior we've not seen a lot of since he's joined. He's come in here and there, left-sided, sort of centre-back, full-back from Poland. And at full-back he played yesterday. I thought he did really well. He actually potentially could have even been one of our man of the matches because he cleared the Brentford goal off the line. Essentially, it was going to go in. He managed to get back, clear it off the line. Brilliant defending, fully committed. Looked like he'd really kind of settled into the team. And actually, that's one thing I would say is that we actually did look, for the first half anyway, especially the first 20 minutes, we looked really solid and we looked really composed. and it didn't look like a team that had been chopped up and changed. Before in the Carling Cup, I think there's been times where, or just generally when we've had to change a lot of players around. For example, on Saturday against Spurs, it all looks a bit disjointed, and it didn't yesterday. It looked like everyone kind of knew what they were supposed to do, potentially apart from one person who we'll come on to later. I'm being a bit harsh there. But we looked reasonably fluid, I would say, and this was against Brentford's first team as well. I had to text my mate Dow actually, because I'm not a Brentford fan, so I wasn't exactly sure is this their first team or more of a second team. And he texted back going, "Now this is pretty much their full strength team here." So fair play to Brentford. They really wanted to continue in the cup, and I thought we did well. And I thought Tomiyasu looked really strong. Looked like just the perfect guy to come in if we want to give Saliba or Gabriel a rest, and so didn't do himself any harm either. He looks fully fit, which has always been the problem with Tomiyasu, is his level of fitness. So hopefully he can stay fit. And yeah, Kiwior, I thought, really did well at left back. Gives us another option for when Zinchenko needs to be rested or is injured or something like that. And one thing I will say though is that Zinchenko did come on later in the game. He just seems to make a mistake to me each time he's playing, and it nearly seems to almost cost us. He's got the ball on the left-hand side. We're about a quarter up the pitch, so we're a bit further, about 10-15 yards ahead of our area, and he just plays the ball inside blind, and Brentford player just runs in and takes it. And luckily, Brentford's finishing all evening was terrible. Otherwise, we would have lost the game. We did give away a lot of shots. And like I said, Brentford couldn't barely finish their dinner last night, let alone a goal, I think. So we did get away with that. But, it's just sloppy from Zinchenko. And he makes the pass and he does a face and goes, "Oh, I shouldn't have done it." And I think Ramsdale had a go at him, which is good, because I feel like he's done that several times this season already. And the message just doesn't seem to be sinking into him for some reason. Like, why are you doing this? You do it once, fair enough, but you're doing it every game now. Really needs to sort it out. But let's get on to something a bit more positive. Apart from that, though, I thought Zinchenko did all right. Let's get into this here. Emil Smith-Rowe and Nelson. Now, I'm going to start with Smith-Rowe here. One of the things I was really interested to see with him starting this game was, does he still have it? Has he still got that swagger, that play, that ball carrying ability that he had 2 years ago before he had the injuries and then just couldn't get back in the team? And after about 5-10 minutes, the obvious answer was yes, he has. He definitely has. I was really worried he was going to look sloppy and just off the pace and not interested and confused maybe, because he's just not been getting any minutes. I saw someone online say he's been living off crumbs. He's not been living off crumbs. He's been living off odours, smells of food. I mean, he can barely get an appearance. And so he's really not had a lot to work with. And you see how he played yesterday. You just wonder, why hasn't he played more? Because he did not look off the pace. In fact, the opposite. He looked like he knew what he was doing. He looked confident. He looked like he had a purpose to him. And I was so happy for him. Oh, he nearly scored a beautiful goal. He's in the centre of the Brentford area. He dances past 2 or 3 Brentford players. It's on his left foot. He probably should have scored. Goalie makes a good save. So that was a bit unlucky. But apart from that, I just thought it was just nice to see him back and to see that, okay, he's at a level where he can contribute to our team going forward. Because we're going to need him. If we're going to win trophies and go deep into competitions and be able to rotate and stuff, we're going to need players like him available with his talent. And I've always said it, if we can get him to his peak powers, he's as effective as an Odegaard to me, or a Saka. He's a £100 million player if we can get him to his peak powers. And it was nice to see him back in the groove. I really hope he gets more minutes to show what he can do. And if he gets those minutes and he doesn't take his opportunities and he's shit, then fair enough. I'll hold my hands up and I go, okay, didn't work out, and we move him on. But hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully he'll keep getting the chances. So his interlinking play with pretty much everyone was just nice and smooth. And Brentford couldn't really do much about him, really. It's real unfortunate that he didn't get a goal or an assist. But apart from that, I thought he had a really, really solid game. He did tire towards the end. He came off, I think, with about 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, which is probably, at the time, I was quite disappointed. I wanted him to do the full 90, but like I said, he hardly played any football at all. So it was probably the best decision. Get him rested, and get him ready for the weekend. I thought Reece Nelson played really, really well. He was quicker than I thought. There was a moment in the second half where Brentford again had kind of broken through our lines, about to go in on goal, and Nelson just runs back and he just ate up the ground and managed to clear the ball. Worked really hard, offensively and defensively, I thought. So took his goal beautifully. Should have had a second goal, which would have really put the tie to bed and got Kai Havertz his first assist. So that was unfortunate. But someone like Nelson's a real example to certain players where, he was dead and buried a year ago, 2 years ago. I can't believe he's still at the club, to be honest, because he looked like he was getting sent out on loan to like Holland and clubs in Germany, and his career was just going nowhere. He came in and everyone talked about him as the next big thing, but even he admits that he wasn't living the life. So, he wasn't training properly, wasn't eating properly, wasn't living properly. And at this level, you can't be like that and hit a regular peak. And, you're seeing that with someone like Sancho at the moment at United. And in fact, it's an interesting comparison because they both kind of came through at a similar time. Sancho obviously went from City to Dortmund and became this incredible European superstar footballer, playing for England, playing for Dortmund, playing in the Champions League. And Reece Nelson's like on loan at Heerenveen, or I don't know, I can't remember where he went now. And his career just looked like it was going down the pan. Sancho obviously gets his big money move to Man United, and it's just gone downhill for him from there. And he's on Instagram playing FIFA at 3 a.m. and stuff, and playing FIFA while United are playing games. He's banned from the club at the moment, refusing to apologise to the manager. Looks like he feels like everyone's out to get him. And now Nelson has knuckled down over the past 18 months, kept his mouth quiet, somehow managed to earn a new deal at Arsenal, unbelievably so. I think getting injured whenever the transfer window came around always seemed to help Nelson in that respect. But fair play to him, he got the contract extension. And now Nelson's making a difference and Sancho's just in the mud. So football can change so differently, but I do think fair play to Nelson. He's really committed and worked hard to get into this position. Now, is he at the level? Can he make the difference for Arsenal, in a Champions League knockout tie or against a Man City or a Liverpool? I don't know. I suspect not. I don't think he's at that kind of level yet. But he's got Bukayo Saka in front of him, so I don't know how many opportunities he's going to get. But it's nice to know if we need to rest Saka, we have got Nelson there to take up the minutes. So really, really happy for him and happy for Smith Rowe as well. Let's go on to another Highlander, shall we? Okay, Eddie Nketiah. It's nice to see all these Highlanders coming through. It does save you so much money in the transfer market. Started up front. I thought he played well. He looked quite tidy, and he had quick feet on the ball. And he kind of sort of did everything apart from get a goal, which unfortunately is what he's there to do as a striker. But he did cause Brentford problems, and like I said, he did work really, really hard. He looked more lively than he did against Tottenham, which is odd, really, because it was away from home. I suppose Brentford aren't really at the level of Tottenham, despite me wanting to think they would be. So it was a bit of an easier game for him. But yeah, and you just look at it and you go, oh, is he good enough? Is he good enough for what we need? But you know what? In a Carling Cup game, yeah, he is. The truth is he is, and Nelson is as well. So, like I said, he worked hard, he pressed hard, but he just couldn't get that clear-cut opportunity to get the goal. And I think that's one of the things I will say is that he's had lots of kind of half chances this season, but he's not had really any what I would call sitters. Even against Palace away, he didn't have any sitters there. He had chances, maybe he should have scored, but they weren't sitters. So unfortunately for him, he couldn't get off the mark yesterday. But hey ho. Now, onto the real talking point, unfortunately, at the moment for Arsenal fans. Kai Havertz. Is he the £65 million flop? Is he the £65 million enigma? I don't know. Well, I've got an idea. I've got to take this sip. I think in terms of yesterday, there's a bit of revisionism, if that's the right word, going on with him, where I watched the game and I just wasn't seeing it. I really wasn't seeing it. He looked a bit off the pace. There would be long moments, 15-minute periods where it felt like he wasn't even touching the ball. The commentators weren't saying his name. And he just didn't look like he was clicking with the team. And it is a bit of a problem, I think. Now, I don't know if he's been playing out of position, because the times I've been most impressed with him is actually when he's played up front. Now, a lot of that is down to his aerial winning ability. He does seem to win. I mean, he is 6'4", so there was a period towards the end of the second half where he pushed further forward and Ramsdale was going long, and he was winning the balls in the air, and that's great. But everyone's talking about his kind of defensive actions, and you kind of think like we've bought him though as an attack, or I assume, maybe wrongly, we've bought him as an attacking midfielder / forward. And I think there's several problems for him at the moment. One is the fee. We paid £65 million. So when you pay that kind of money, you're expecting someone to come in and kind of hit the ground running, especially if they come from the Premier League. If they come from another league, it's completely new and different, then okay, fair enough. But he's been playing in the Premier League now against Premier League teams for the last 2-3 years. So he's fully aware of what the deal is. So there's that. Now, also, he's keeping other players out of the team, like Smith Rowe, for example, who the fans have a real strong attachment for. So if a player gets dropped, but the guy that's come in is balling, you kind of put your hands up and you go, yeah, the levels are raised. But it doesn't look like that. He doesn't look better than what he's replacing. But that's a good question, is what is he replacing? Who is he replacing that was there last year? Is it Xhaka? Is it Smith Rowe? Is it someone else? And we don't really know, because the manager, Arteta, hasn't really made it clear why we bought him. I don't think he has anyway, or what position he's going to play. He's not said, yeah, we've brought Havertz in and we're looking to do X, Y, and Z with him. In fact, it was kind of the opposite. It felt like, well, let's see how he fits in and we'll work something out. It's like, you've spent all that money, 200 grand a week plus wages, and you're going to figure it out as you go along. I didn't like the sound of that at the beginning of the season, and I like it even less now. So we haven't found, I think, where he fits. He's typically played on the left. He looked a bit more comfortable when he was on the right, I thought, because he switched sides at one point in the second half. And it looks like when he's playing, you can see he's kind of thinking. He's thinking about what he should do, and he's not particularly brave. And I don't mean that in a physical sense. I mean that in how he plays. He's not really trying anything. He's doing the simple pass. He's not trying to take control of a situation or take control of a particular play or whatever. He's just kind of looks like he's kind of going through the motions and just doing what he can do without someone having to have a go at him because he's made a mistake or something. Now, obviously he made errors in previous games, like against United, he lost the ball and they counter-attacked us and they scored. So maybe that's playing on his mind. And I can understand it if it is, but he needs to be above that, really. He needs to, if he has got those doubts in his head, he needs to just be selfish and forget about them and kind of look forward. So yeah, I'm not personally seeing it. A lot of people online are seeing it. I'm yet to be convinced. So what is it, eight games now without a goal or an assist for a supposed attacking player? It's not good numbers. It's not good numbers at all. And you know, even if he does get a goal, one goal or assist, it doesn't really change much. It's going to have to do that consistently. So yeah, a lot of work to be done for Kai Havertz, unfortunately. So we'll get onto the we'll wrap this up in a minute, but we'll get onto the final thoughts. Overall, this game could have gone very differently, I felt. If this was a league game, I think I would have been watching it like this. Brentford had so many chances to score. Not all of them were great chances, but they were chances, and their finishing just let them down. I mean, they were just slicing pretty much everything wide or over. Against a higher level team with better finishing, we would have been knocked out yesterday. Now, maybe we would have reacted to it possibly, but they definitely would have scored. We wouldn't have kept a clean sheet. So a lot to tighten up on. I feel in the second half, we started going a bit too long and trying to rush everything. And then that changed it into a kind of up and down game, which suited Brentford more than us. Whereas in the first 15, 20 minutes, it was we were quite controlled and calm with it. So same kind of story where we lose our heads a bit and situations get to us and we just become a bit of our own enemy, our own worst enemy. But we held on, we got through. That's the main point. And you know what? It was nice to get through. Normally we get kind of dumped out of this cup quite early and we're not able, but that's part of that is because we've not been able to field as strong a team as we did yesterday. So that's nice to see that the squad has thickened out. And we've still got a lot available in reserves. We've got a lot of people injured at the moment. So hopefully they'll be back soon. We've got West Ham away in the next round. And I believe if we win, the winners of the West Ham Arsenal game get the winners of the Newcastle Liverpool game. So I'm not 100% certain if that's true, but that's what I've read. So that would be incredible match there. I think West Ham will be a tough game because we're not going to be putting our big team out. I don't see Declan Rice playing that game, for example. He'll probably be rested, maybe on the bench. And they're going to be up for it. David Moyes will want to win a trophy as well. So I'm not actually sure when that game is. I need to check it out. But overall, great result. Great to get a win, get the confidence back before Bournemouth on Saturday. I'll be back tomorrow to do a bit of a preview on that. And yeah, congratulations to Arteta. He got most of the decisions right yesterday, which is all you can do as a manager, I suppose. Hopefully Smith Rowe's done enough to maybe get some minutes against Bournemouth. And yeah, I'll see you soon, probably tomorrow. Thanks very much. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Please comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.